Hello everyone, my name is Iretiola and you're welcome to another edition of my show, Oge. And what we basically do here every single edition is to celebrate the best that Africa has to offer. Now, the African continent is teeming with hundreds of thousands of young, brilliant individuals who are doing great things. It doesn't matter what it is. Movies, music, industry, commerce, agriculture, name it, we are there. Now, on today's edition of our show, we will be profiling two young ladies who are doing amazing things in their areas of specialization. One is a brilliant actor, the other, a brilliant musician. Now, today promises to be an exciting episode, so don't go away. Welcome back. Now, beyond the usual indices like record sales, appearances at shows, social media numbers, personally speaking, I know that a musician has become successful when you can distinctly tell their voice apart from any other. Now, our first story today is a young lady whose voice is simply distinct. Enjoy.
Love don't care at all. Love don't care who you know, where do you get to? Love don't care at all.
My name is Simisola, and I'm a singer-songwriter, sound engineer. Singer-songwriter kind of came at the same time, I think. But I think singer. I think the first time that I sang, I would say publicly, was I was 8 years old and we were in church, and there was this special number that they asked us to sing. I can't forget the song because, it was a big deal at the time. And, everyone was trying to find who would sing the solo. And it was like, oh, Simi, Simi. And that was the first time that I actually remember singing, like, in front of a crowd. And over time, I just had this intense attraction to music. I remember that I had this book that I would just write like lyrics in it, and they were really cheesy at the time, but I was like 9, 10, so I didn't care. And I knew something in me, just knew that it was something that I was going to eventually end up doing. Because of how much I was in love with it, I knew that was what I was going to eventually do. And I joined this group in school, in church. I was in teens church. It was called Outstanding. And it was a dance group at first. And, we used to everybody wanted to be in the group. And it was really hard for me because, I was just really tiny. And they were all looking at me like, what are you looking for here? But I didn't give up. I'll go for rehearsals. They wouldn't let me enter. My brother was in the group, and he used to be so mean to me. Be like, please, can you just not let her in? I don't know why she's here, But I was, I just refused to go back home. And eventually they let me in. And then the group, kind of evolved into more than just a dance group. We used to sing and rap as well. So there I was very, very dedicated to my rehearsals, and that's the one thing. I was a very, very laid back child. I didn't do wala, but that was the one thing that I would enter bus. I remember I was in Adini Jones at the time. We would go for rehearsals, everything. I would write the songs. I'd be like, guys, come and hear what I wrote. And, just that was where, I would say that I honed my passion for music.
Smile for me, even if you're sad. Be good to me, even if you're bad. Stay with me, even if you've got some place to be.
In 2008, I released this album that was entirely produced by Sam Clef. And there was a song that I had at the time. It was pretty big, all the churches used to dance to it and everything. But nobody knew. It was Araile, but then nobody knew the face. So I could still enter bus and take Okada. Nobody sent me, And I was really, really excited. And this album was called Ogaju. And that was my first step, outside of my group anyway, first step into music. I remember that I just graduated school because I went to Covenant University that year, and I went to serve. And when I came back, when I finished serving, I joined. There was this record label that signed me. I think of it as one of the worst decisions I ever made. But I don't really think about it that way anymore because in that period that I was signed and nothing was really happening, there was a lot of growth that happened for me. There were a lot of things that I probably wouldn't have focused on then. If things were working better, I probably wouldn't have focused on it as much. In 2012, that was when I got into mainstream music and I released my first single, actually 2 singles then, but the biggest one was Thief, at the time. And I got signed to Extreme Music that year. And we put out that song and, people really liked it. And then I felt like, I was finally coming into my own, I'm finding my own niche and my own sound.
It's in the doom, it's in the need. It's kind of amazing. Boy, you make me feel every day like tin on my body. I can't deny I'm feeling it. I wanna call you baby. Baby, butterflies. Boy, you give me butterflies. You be different, I say you be different. And say you don't steal my score. You be different, I say you be different. Oh boy, you get them out. One thing I'm sure about, you be different.
Finding my sound definitely did not happen from the beginning. I used to dabble in lots of things. I used to do R&B, I would do pop, I can do reggae if you give me the beats. And the thing is, I could write on pretty much anything. So, it wasn't, I didn't see the need to find, something that was just me. But eventually there was this, my producer, I work with Oscar right now. And I remember I used to send him songs then and he'd be like, oh, nice, but, this is not what we're looking for. So I would, and I think that the people that make you the best version of yourself are people that, like constructively criticize you, not people that just praise you. So, when, I hear someone say, how about you do this instead? I always rush and try to do that, And then I remember that I was in the States for like 4 months and I would just be trying different things, different new sounds. And then it just kind of came together. And then when I found it, I just knew that it was like love. I just knew that, that I'd finally found what I was looking for. So it was just now refining it. You write a song, this sounds too R&B, how about you take this out? Or, you're sounding too phonetic. If you want to sing pidgin, just say it like you're talking to your guys and everything, and just before you know it, the more you do something, the more it becomes a part of you, and then I just felt like I'd finally found my space. And doing the sound in this kind of industry as it is right now, especially in Nigeria, where I don't even know what to call it, but those kind of dancing, jamming, something, that's what's, popping. I've always said that I think we underestimate Nigerians sometimes. We assume that people don't want to hear good music. We assume that people don't want to hear laid-back music. I think there's a sound for everything. Even this bang bang that we're talking about, I listen to it sometimes. It depends on what you're trying to, the mood that you're in. No, it's not for everything. It's not for everybody. So I feel like as long as you can find your own uniqueness and master it, then people will definitely be drawn to it. People will tell you before. People will say, this kind of people don't like this kind of thing, but just give me time and see, and then you prove to people that people actually are looking for your kind of music.
Mama called me just the other day. She said, hello, I'm talking to you, baby. Somebody called me. He gonna tell me, say, he see you with Tomoibo. Tell me, are you crazy? Girl, are you foolish? She your I don't finish, what do they do with your coro? Girl, I'm your mother. You know that I know better, but my mama don't know.
About keeping my music clean and PG. I just, for me, I honestly don't even think that there's one way to do anything. But I feel like if something comes naturally to you, then that's what you should stick to. I don't like it when people expect you to do something. I think that everybody tell your story differently. And if you're trying to be something that you cannot maintain, something that you cannot continue to do because it's not really you, then I feel like there's no point starting it. So if I try to come out with, all because it's not me, I can't keep up. I can't keep doing it. So I don't even want to step. You might have, at first you might have to put more effort into trying to convince people that this is cool too, this is okay too. It's okay to be just this regular girl that likes to sing rather than this, And, I think that over time people have actually, they're buying into it. In fact, now if I even try to put small sexy people, say, Simi, no, I like this next door girl stuff, So I think it's just, the thing is, like with anything you're starting, with anything new, you just have to convince people that it's doable. I studied mass communication and I did my IT in Cool FM. And I remember Manny at the time used to do some software, Adobe Audition, and I used to watch him. I used to just look at him and I'll try on my own and everything. And I realized that I had a knack for it. It wasn't even about music. It's just you could record anything, audio, And then when I went to school, I did my project based on, the whole software as well. And so, like, if I'm writing, sometimes I record myself. I couldn't really use any of the plugins or any of the buttons on the thingy, but at least I could put my voice down and everything. And then I now started to dabble into actually mixing, it wasn't all that, but just at least you can still make it sound a bit nice and everything. And I realized I actually really enjoyed it, so I went on YouTube. I started to learn everything that I could. Sound engineering definitely has come handy. I mixed Adekunle Gold's album. I mixed and mastered his album except for one song. Since I started to do it professionally, I've been mixing and mastering my own songs. I intend to mix and master my own album. So, it just kind of cuts out all the drama that comes with making music. So I record myself, I mix my songs. I already know what I want to do. The process of getting that music ready, most of it is in my hands. So it's just, I don't have to rely on as many people, so I'm not as frustrated if someone else is not coming through for me. The advice I would give to a younger version of me would be keep fighting, because don't let all those people that are giving you this advice, don't let them win. Just keep fighting. If I could do one thing to fix Nigeria, I would fix education, because we have a lot of suppressed minds. Just need to open that up. I will never skydive. Style is comfortable. 3 things that can impede anyone's journey to success: laziness, pride, brokenness. 3 things I consider fashion flops. To be honest, I feel like as long as you're happy with what you're wearing, man, you're cool. My philosophy in life is work hard. Believe in yourself, believe in your dreams. Dream big, work hard. Don't let your most important drive be money, because when you get it, then what next?
Our next profile is on a prolific actor. She's beautiful inside out. She's a multiple award-winning actress. Dubbed Nigeria's sweetheart, as beautiful as they come. Stay tuned as we bring you up close and personal with Adesua.
My name is Adesua Etomi and I'm an actress. I went to school in the UK. I moved to the UK when I was about 13, or the age keeps shifting because it was such a long time ago, I can't remember. And I went to Waverley Girls' School to start off with, then moved to Coventry with my mom. That's about an hour away from London. and I started studying the sciences. And then, as God will have it, I failed one major subject. And then I had this talk with my guidance counselor and said I wanted to do performing arts. And we had a talk with my mom, and she gave her full support. So in 2004, I started studying performing arts, physical theatre and musical theatre. And I did that for 2 years, a national diploma. Finished pretty well, went on to university, studied drama and performance, did that for 3 years. I worked with a fashion company, and I was an merchandising administrator and a buying administrator. So I worked with fabrics, I worked with numbers, I was doing store allocations. I was basically making some really big moves and making some really good money, and it just got to the point where I wasn't satisfied anymore. I felt like something was missing, and I knew that I just had to take the dive. I was very afraid of starting the arts. You know, there's one thing being in school and learning it, and there's one other thing, like, taking it out into the world. And I think there was a certain fear of failure with me, so I was just like, oh, let me just get some money. And then I got so comfortable, then I just got tired of it, and I said, you know, I just upped and quit. I did the Edinburgh Fringe Festival in 2012, performed every day for like 26 days. And it was the best feeling on the planet. I was like, you know what, this is where I'm supposed to be. I didn't come back wanting to break into the entertainment industry. Funny enough, that wasn't really on my mind. I just felt like I was supposed to come, and then I had this mandate thing I wanted to do called the 100 Project. And yes, it was to go to 100 churches and perform a particular piece called I Will Wait For You. It's a spoken word piece, and it was something that really registered to me, and I just felt like there were so many people that needed to hear it. So I had a bunch of letters that I gave out to churches wanting to do that. And obviously God had his own plans, because I performed at Open Mic Theatre, which is run by Lala Akindoju. And from that performance, I got my first 2 gigs, and it was just non-stop after that.
He's not looking at me. Why is he not looking at me? Imo, why are you not looking at me? Why is he not looking at me? I don't understand why he's not saying anything. Why wouldn't he look at me?
I actually train more for theatre. Most of my training, if not all my training, lies in theatre. So since 2004, I have been doing theatre and musicals. I did Miss Saigon, Les Miserables, Jesus Christ Superstar, all the musicals that are so dear to my heart. I got a chance to do those. I did a lot more theatre in 2013. I did Sorrow the Musical. I did a British Arts Council performance for the British Arts Council Festival. It's called Shattered, for a play. It won the BBC Prize for Best Writing or something, and that was the first time they put it on. I did The Anatomy of a Woman. I've done quite a lot of theatre in Nigeria, come to think of it. But as a performer, you get to a point where you want to spread your tentacles, and you don't ever want to feel as if there's anything you cannot do. So that's why I went into film and TV. I used to think, oh, I did theatre, film, TV, it'll be a walk in the park. No. I have a newfound respect for theatre, for TV and film. I wanted to train, you know, there's one thing being raw, and there's another thing training. Like, training is very, very important. I totally think that being theatre trained does give you an edge as an actor, because with theatre, you learn so much discipline. I cannot stress how much discipline you learn from theatre. I can't stress it enough. And I do feel as though, because of my training in theatre, film has been slightly easier for me than if I hadn't had any theatre training at all. In as much as I love film and TV, my heart will forever be on stage. Singing. Now, singing has been my love for the longest time. I always say this, music and I, an undying love affair. My love for music is so deep that if I don't feel as though I'm ready for it, I will not do it, because I cannot do music half-heartedly. I don't think with the arts, with this job, you never arrive. If you ever get to the point where you feel you're arrived, the only way is down, because you stop focusing on the work and you start focusing on yourself. It's never about you. It's always about the work. It's always about the audience. It's always about what they glean from what you do. I cannot stress how important it is to be educated, no matter what you want to do. I think, first of all, information is key. You cannot have power if you don't have information. And one of the key things about education is they feed you information. And it's so important to have information in whatever it is you want to do. You want to sell pure water, there's information for you. If you don't know how to go about it, you will fail. If you want to go into acting, don't think it's something that you can just delve into. You just stand in front of a camera, and acting is not a joke. It has never been a joke, and it really hurts. And I always say this with so much passion, that it really hurts when people think that this is a job that you can just walk into. I think what stands me out, first of all, would have to be God's grace. Because I have to be honest, there are a million talented people out there. And the fact that I am where I am, God's grace, but also preparation met with opportunity. I did not get prepared, I stayed prepared. So that when I got to that point, I don't feel as though I'm overwhelmed. You have to stay prepared. You can't get ready. You can't wait for an opportunity to come to you before you're ready. Spirituality plays a huge role in my life, in general, in every aspect of my life. I have always been embedded in the Word of God. Now, I'm saying I'm a Christian. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'd like to make that very extremely clear, because there's this thing about when you're a Christian, people expect you to be a certain way. I acknowledge God because that's who I know. I can't give the glory to any other person. The contemporary Nigerian woman is a force to be reckoned with. I do feel as if she's very strong. She's very principled. She's a go-getter. She doesn't see limits, because women in the past couldn't do a lot of what women are doing nowadays. The contemporary Nigerian woman is doing nowadays. And it's very nice to see women in the forefront. We have so many fashion designers, we have so many poets, we have so many actors, we have people right now that are in the government, which is something that we haven't seen before. So I do think that she's a force to be reckoned with, and I do think that this is just a starting point. There's so much more to her, and I feel as the years unfold, other things will unfold as well. Style is personal. Bad breath. Body odor, and dishonesty. I cannot do without good shoes. I cannot do without my natural hair. I don't know if that applies. And I cannot do without pants. Like trousers, in any shape, size, anything, trousery, my thing. Terrible eyebrows. I have seen some really horrific eyebrows, the kind that you draw with like fashion suicide, definitely. Ill-fitted clothing, whether it's too tight, too short, too loose, too anything. If you're not comfortable, yeah, no. And also, shoes that are not your size. Like, sometimes I see ladies with like peep toes, and like their toes are like over like, really bad, no. Big no. No, I do not. But at a point in my life, beauty secret, aloe vera, raw aloe vera is so amazing for my skin. It's also a really good primer. So raw aloe vera, you just break it, you get the slime. That's the best part. I know it sounds yucky, but that's the best part. Once you're done for the day, wash your face, put raw aloe vera on your face overnight. Then I wash that off, and I use it as a primer as well before I put my makeup on. The greatest distraction on the road to success would have to be opinions. Everybody seems to have an opinion. There's so many loud voices, but if you don't know the voice that's for you, you will get sidetracked. My journey isn't everybody else's journey. Find your own journey and stay there, because there are too many voices out and about right now. Everybody wants to tell you how to go about things. Everybody wants to tell you who they think you should be. Everybody wants to tell you how they think you should act. No matter what happens, stay true to self. Embrace your own journey, because it is peculiar to you. The guiding principles on how I live my life. I do believe that I need to stay true to self, no matter what situation I find myself in. Never bullied out of being who I am. Also, be very prayerful. You can never go wrong. Be very persistent. I'm extremely persistent. You can't tell me no. The only time I'd stop is when I'm ready to stop. Otherwise, I won't stop. I keep working. So be true to self, be prayerful, and be extremely persistent.
I can listen to Adesua speak all day long. But sadly enough, we've run out of time and we find ourselves at the end of another edition of my show. Now, I sincerely hope that you enjoyed watching it just as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. Now, you know what to do. Hit us up on social media. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, send us an email, log on to our website, tell us what you think, tell us what you'd like to see. Now, till I come your way with another exciting episode of our show, I'm asking you to look after yourselves and let's be kind to one another. Goodbye.